Okay, so let's talk about, first of all, I watched Dallas yesterday, and I keep saying this. Don't tell me they're dysfunctional. You can't win your division third time in 5 years with a quarterback like Dak. Dallas is a good football franchise. It's a good football team.
Well, congrats to the Dallas Cowboys. They did it, and I think they did it in the fashion that is the only way they're going to win. I mean, the offense was not too impressive.
No.
I think people have cracked the code now. Amari Cooper, double him up.
Yeah.
Contain Ezekiel Elliott. Try to keep him around 75, 85 yards like they did yesterday. And defensively, you got to make plays. And their defense makes plays. Their defense is really good.
You have said this. You think there's a code to cracking a lot of teams. Obviously, nobody can crack New England's code or Joe Montana's code. But you do believe after that Saints win, maybe it was the Colts, sort of gave you a way to beat them.
Well, you're talking about the Cowboys.
Yeah.
That's the way now. Because Dak Prescott is Dak Prescott. He doesn't throw for over 200 yards.
Yeah.
It's rare that he throws it for over 200 yards. He doesn't turn the ball over either. He's going to manage the game. He's going to miss, take some. It's just who he is. And unless he can improve, and I'm not saying he can't get better. It's only his third year.
Yeah.
I always say quarterbacks. It takes 4 or 5 years to kind of hit your stride.
Yeah,
as a
it did.
quarterback.
Russell Wilson, by the way, I thought nailed it in his 4th year.
Yeah.
I thought Russell became a world-class quarterback. I thought he was really good and exciting, but in year 4, it popped.
Yes.
Like the light went on. He less scramble, more pocket.
And maybe that can happen to Dak.
Okay,
Maybe.
Let's go to that game last night. Listen, Mahomes is great. He is 0-4 in his biggest games. It's not all his fault, but I thought Russell Wilson was a better quarterback last night. Tell me I'm wrong. What did you make of your Chiefs?
You know what? I thought they played very, very even. They were both very, very impressive. The Kansas City Chiefs, first of all, on the show yesterday, I went a little hard on the Chiefs.
You did.
But I want to tell the Chief fans out there, I do it out of love. We criticize the ones we love the most.
That's a great point, Tony.
And everybody who has a husband or a wife out there, you know what I'm talking about, okay? So don't think that I'm trashing the Kansas City Chiefs. But right now, they are in some trouble. They're in trouble. That offense is dynamic. Patrick Mahomes, you can make the argument he's the MVP of the league, right up there with Russell Wilson, right up there with Drew Brees. But defensively right now, I'm looking at this team, and I'm scared. I'm scared. When they go to the playoffs, what are they going to do? How you have to stop people. And Patrick Mahomes, there's so much pressure on him, and I feel like he's pressing sometimes.
I feel that, too, that like Russell Wilson knows, you know what, I'll throw it away. Does Patrick Mahomes feel like I don't get throwaways?
No.
Like I can't give the ball up.
And he's got to go deep. He's got to go. Instead of there was a couple times last night, and it's a little harder on television, but I saw him last week when I was there live for the Chargers game. There's guys that are open on the lower levels. He could throw the 5-yard out, hit Kelsey, or hit somebody in the slot or whatever right away, but he has to hold the ball sometime because he's like, I got to go score points. And I don't know if that's him because that's just who he is, or if it's just him saying, you know what? If I don't take this, that defense is going to get back on the field and they're going to go down and score. We have to score touchdowns, which is a lot of. I've been on that team. 2003, we had the number 1 offense in the NFL, worst defense, went to the playoffs and lost first round.
So you were on that team.
I was on that team. We went 13.
And did you feel like we got to take more chances offensively?
Absolutely. We didn't even punt in that playoff game against the Peyton Manning and the Colts. We didn't punt. We did our job. and we had 1 turnover, 1 fumble, and that's what cost us the game because they got the ball back and went down and scored because they didn't punt either. And we had our defense was ranked dead last that year. And I look at this team right now, and there's so much talent on there, but they can't guard him. They got a great front four though. Chris Jones.
Oh
Houston,
God, D Ford, Houston. Chris Jones is the most under. Last night there were 2 players in that game: Doug Baldwin for Seattle and Chris Jones for the Chiefs. Those guys are great NFL players, and nobody's paying attention to them.
And they should. And hopefully now Chris Jones, it's kind of his first year. Once you get on the map, people know who you are. This year, he's putting himself on the map. Going forward, his career, I think he's going to be an outstanding football player.
Okay, Pittsburgh Steelers, you and I roll our eyes at this team because they're so gifted. They're so much fun to watch. I cannot wait to watch the Steelers every week.
Yeah.
And they lost to Oakland, and they tied Cleveland. And are they a playoff team to you?
So much talent. So much talent. And we talk about this. It'd be a shame if they don't get into the playoffs with all the players that they have, Hall of Fame type caliber players. But for whatever reason, they always play to their opponent's ability. And I think that's just because they're an emotional team. Yeah. They live and die by that. And I think that starts with Coach Tomlin. And you can't tell me, because they win over the last decade. I think they're second in wins to New England Patriots. So it works. It's dysfunctional. But it's dysfunctional chaos that works. But this year, I think it's going to bite him in the butt. Le'Veon Bell, I think, really hurt him. And next week, when Baltimore beats the Cleveland Browns, which I think is probably going to happen, they're going to be home. They're going to be home.
It bothered me deeply that Baker Mayfield was taunting a coach that was fired. And like any coach, he has a right to employment. One of the things I've always liked about you is there's a right way to do things and a wrong way. And I'm not saying Baker doesn't have talent. I said he can play, but I think I'm seeing his college Baker. I think this is juvenile.
It is. It is. And
I don't like it at all.
And if I was in Baker's ear, I would tell him, just relax. Just get over it, man. I mean, forgiveness, if we want to go that way. Because when you hold that in, and I know he thinks that it gives him that chip. And he's that guy. He's a guy who plays with that chip because maybe what has happened to him throughout his career, even through college and all the things that he's gone through. But I think if he would realize that when you let things go, you play even better. They've done experiments when you do forgiveness. Your free throw percentage, healthier. Your free throw percentage goes up. Your vertical jump goes up. I think as an athlete, once you let go of all that stuff, you'll be even better, Baker. I think you holding on to this, it's juvenile. Hopefully he gets over it.
By the way, he did something on the sidelines we can't show. I would not taunt Vontaze Burfict. I would not taunt people in my division who I play twice a year. I think it's a very dangerous proposition. I think Baker Mayfield's going to become a target by defenses in that division called the Ravens, the Bengals, and the Steelers. Tony Gonzalez, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.